So as an emotional eater, your attachment to food is not healthy. And we need to get to a place of security and safety around food in order to resolve this pattern. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist specializing in emotional eating. So something that I always talk about with emotional eating is that it's a coping mechanism. It's something we would have developed most likely in childhood to help us deal with discomfort, distress, uncomfortable emotions, because our parents or caregivers weren't able to model this to us, to help us they weren't able to guide us through our emotions. And usually when we have this coping mechanism, it means that our parents or caregivers, our relationship to them wasn't very secure. And so we didn't have that attachment. We probably had an anxious or an avoidant attachment style, and we didn't feel safe. And so our sense of safety and security was sort of always under, let's say, threat. And so that discomfort lives within us. Not only are we having these uncomfortable emotions, all of these sort of developmental needs that we need to be seen and heard and validated are not being met. And so we're walking around with this underlying sense of anxiety and not feeling secure. And so we are looking for ways to start feeling that security. And so for emotional eaters, the way they were able to find that or find some relief from this deep sense of feeling insecure or anxious was to go to food to soothe. Food gives us a dopamine rush. It kind of gives us a temporary hit of feeling okay. It calms our body, and it's a Band-Aid. And we could have found other things. Maybe, this can be the same as when someone uses alcohol or drugs, or they do shopping, or any one of those addictive things. We just happen to find food. And so we're using food to cope, to feel okay, because we didn't have that secure attachment to our parents or caregivers. And we're trying to somehow create that sense of safety and security within ourselves. Children that don't have this, they struggle. And as you sort of grow up, that pattern remains. And so if you don't have this relationship with your parents or caregivers, they're the ones that are meant to help you develop this. You can't do this on your own. As a child, developmentally, you can't do this on your own. And so you didn't have these needs met that can make you feel safety and security. And so you're looking for it externally, like in food. And then, you might have other patterns around this. I see with clients, maybe with money or relationships. You're trying to find that external security. And it's not to say that any of these things are bad. We need food, we need money, we need relationships, but we need it in a healthy way where we're not anxious around it, where we're not almost in this anxious state around it. And when I'm working with clients with their emotional eating, it ties into these sort of core issues. With emotional eating, there are certain core issues that are tied into it. And sometimes their anxiety around all of these areas are also tied into their emotional eating. So they might be emotionally eating because this discomfort and distress is coming up because part of them feels that they and then it's tied into another thing, like they need enough money to feel safe, or they need X, Y, and Z to feel safe. But when we really get into the root, all of those things can fade away. And so us using food is a way to start creating within ourselves a feeling of safety or security. And it's not meant for that. Food can be comforting and food is meant to nourish us, but it cannot take the place of creating that inner safety and inner security that we're really looking for. We have to start doing that for ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to keep using food in this unhealthy way, and it impacts us on so many levels. We're not actually meeting our true needs. We're not actually creating that inner safety and security. So we still have that anxiety and those uncomfortable emotions playing out, which means that our nervous system is kind of stuck in this fight or flight mode where we have raised stress levels, we will have inflammation, we be on the path to developing disease, holding on to weight, mood issues, digestive issues. They're all going to be playing out because when we use food to give us that inner safety and security, it's just a band-aid, it's just temporary. And if we try to control food with diets and exercise and all of these things without meeting that deeper need, it's going to be fleeting and willpower is going to fall short. Yes, willpower is going to give you that initial momentum to do these things, but it's not meeting that need. And so you're going to keep going back to this pattern. You have to shift this pattern on this deep body level so that you can start feeling that inner safety and security, and food can take its place because food has just been this substitute. And once you have that internally, things start to shift. And they start to shift in a few different ways. It's almost like that anxiety, that void that you've been feeling, it starts going back to calm and peace because you're giving yourself, you're meeting those deeper needs that your parents or caregivers weren't able to do for you. You are becoming that parent or caregiver that you needed. And of course, when I'm working with clients, I am holding that space for them. I'm helping them create that internally, but I'm also offering that support for them so that they can heal those deeper issues that have created this pattern. And that's going to be so important because if you try to think your way out of your emotional eating, think your way into safety and security, and maybe consciously you see like, yes, I have a roof over my head, I shouldn't be insecure, but you still are. There's a deeper wound there that we need to meet on a body somatic level. We need to move through this and integrate it because we hold these traumas, these unresolved emotions in our body. And it's good to have awareness, like I'm sharing with you right now. It's great to have that awareness, but without doing the deeper work, you're not going to be able to fully shift this pattern. And so when you create that inner safety and security and you're able to be that parent or caregiver that you needed to allow yourself to move through these emotions, to allow yourself to move through discomfort, to resolve these patterns that have been playing out, what happens is so amazing. Our body is so amazing. Our nervous system shifts from fight or flight, where it's holding on to all that stress and maybe weight and digestive issues and inflammation, to rest and digest, where it can now relax. It has ease. It has peace. It can release weight. It can release information. It boosts immunity. We have better mood and confidence. And that is what we're really looking for. There is no diet or exercise plan that's going to give that to you. That is the deeper inner work to start giving yourself what you really needed to get to the other side. And so this is what's really missing. This is what's so important, along with, of course, learning to nourish your body, learning to see your triggers, connecting with your body. They all play into this pattern that's triggering us into emotional eating. But we can develop that safety and security within. We don't need food or something external. And when we create it from within, we can start attracting it on the outside as well. We'll see more clearly because we know how it feels to feel safe and secure. So we're not going to go towards things that don't make us feel that way. And we'll start noticing that, oh, food can't give me the safety and security. You know, that was my experience when I started to do this. If I even wanted to emotionally eat, it just didn't feel good in my body. My body's like, this is not what I need because I've gotten the real thing. And when you have the real thing, nothing can replace that. So this is something that we do inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program. So this is a big part of the program, getting you back to that inner sense of safety and security and giving yourself what you actually need instead of using food. And so when we're working with this pattern, the first place I always recommend is to start learning to discern true from emotional hunger and catching your triggers. That's going to help you start seeing your pattern in your day-to-day life. And if you want to get started on that, I have a free guide below. And if you are ready to resolve your emotional eating, you want that support, you want the step-by-step process, you want the in-depth tools and the process that's actually going to help you meet those deeper needs and shift this pattern, then I'd love to invite you to find out more about the Emotional Eating Evolution program. This is my 12-week container with the support, the tools, one-to-one sessions to help you get to the other side of your emotional eating, to help you start feeling ease and confidence around food and in your body, and no longer using food as a band-aid. So if you want to find out more about that, the link is below as well. If you have any questions about what I've shared today, please let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.